these guys, they can't get. I'm all the time reading about people having problems at the VA hospital.
Not just the VA hospital. You have people that are public places like restaurants and coffee shop chains and stuff like that refuse to serve vets. And it shouldn't be this way. These are the same people that stick their necks out to keep the rest of us free.
Yeah.
And they don't deserve this kind of treatment.
Right.
I would love to be there when that happens, that somebody would refuse a vet, because they would be not only brainless but toothless. I am not kidding. They better not move to a state that's starting to ban straws, because that's the only way they'd be able to get their nutrition henceforward.
There's
I mean, you've got these idiots that run around that want to go after servicemen that gave them the right to even protest. You don't have to get into somebody's face. If you want to stand somewhere with an idiot box sign saying that you're against whatever you're against, but not the people, just the serviceman or woman that basically sacrifices all of their time to fight for people's freedom. I'm tired of simpletons. These people that have nothing better to do than go after people that give everything, and these people usually give nothing. It just boils me. It really does. My blood.
I have a term for them. It's UI. It's useful idiots. They're useful for the dark side.
Yeah. We had. I'm sorry.
No.
We had brought up, or you had brought up before it, and it's true, as conspiracy analysts, we take on a lot of information that is negative. It's dark. It's dark stuff, So, and I was going to ask this later, but you did touch on it, and it is important. For those that do spend a lot of time looking at this stuff, how do you guys vent after taking so much negativity from analyzing all the conspiracies on a regular basis?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Angel.
I don't trust anything until I have dissected it down to nano size. I really do not. Even it's a parallax, because somebody can hear or see something the same exact angle, but somebody looking at it or hearing it from a different angle sees or hears something different. I want the Rubik's Cube sides all lined up. So when I hear all the negativity, I know it. I can just feel, but then I research. We just have to accept we have been lied to. And that's the problem. People don't like to be duped. And it's so much easier to take somebody that doesn't think they know something than it is to take somebody that thinks they know everything. To unlearn something is much more difficult than to learn something from a clean slate. So when I hear the negativity, I use my phrase that somebody else has said many times over, way before Reagan, but trust but verify. And we can't make anybody believe anything, but we can tell them, I've looked at all the information. We are being lied to. And when you open your eyes and you research it yourself, you will find out the same. And I can't tell you how many people come back later and say, oh my God. And that's what defines how I get through it, because I have so many people later that actually come back.
Okay.
Riscalla?
I walk every day, and some people meditate.
Right.
During my walk, it's like a meditation. I don't listen to music. I don't have a radio going. It's just me and my dog, and the walk is typically 2.5 to 3.5 miles every morning. And during that time, I kind of cleanse myself. I do some imaginative like meditation. Just I look around me. A lot of times it's early in the morning. The sun is just starting to come up, so it's kind of there's a little bit of beauty going on there until you see the chemtrails. But the sun's coming up. So I look at the surroundings around me. I'm in an equestrian area, so there's people out here with horses everywhere, and sometimes the horses come out to greet us. So it's a very relaxing kind of thing, and kind of to me it's like a washing away. And I do it every day. Some days longer than others, but it's typically an hour and a quarter or so, anywhere from about 2 3/4 to 3.5 miles. Me and my dog just walking, and in the silence of where we are, there's not traffic or anything. It's pretty quiet. The roads are dirt roads, because it's intended for horse traffic, not for cars. But even though we have cars, so it's not like I'm walking around intersections or busy roads. It's very quiet. You can hear the birds. You see the squirrels. Very kind of a back to nature kind of thing. My phone is on silent. I don't take any calls during that time. The only reason I take it with me is because I need to know if I'm going to go slow or fast, because I could spend 2 hours doing it and still be. This is why I had such a hard time explaining to my doctor. I didn't think it was my heart when I had this little scare back a couple of weeks ago, because I do this every day, and this is kind of my cleansing. So that's how I deal with it. Every day I walk for 1 to 1 1/4 hours, and it's kind of a meditation walk.
Do you hear the difference between Riscalla and I? Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. He's the nice, calm one. He meditates. I'm here seething, ready to
jumping at the pit.
Premeditate.
Right.
But I mean, it takes that kind. I love that he has he's soothing, and he wants to clear his head, and I'm always fist to cuff, ready to rumble.
You guys have a really good chemistry on the radio.
Very much so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are welcome. That is true. So, do you guys think people have the power?
Ask that again.
Do you guys think the people? Okay, like for me, for example, like if you listen to, let's say, like David Icke's message, he'll talk about a lot of the negative things that are going on in the world, but he also has always had this message that, look, everybody, the people have the power. Mm-hmm. We can change this, So, it's. Do you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I 100% agree. In my experience of life, the problem is the people have the power. Number one, they don't recognize they have the power. Number two, they're mentally not prepared to handle the power. The majority of them, or maybe that's not true anymore. That may not be accurate. Many of them are not mentally prepared to handle them. They're not mentally prepared to make a responsible decision about the future of their lives, because everything has been handed to them for so long that they can't handle that. They can't do that.
That is so true. I look at it kind of like this. I have a toaster, and I know it will toast bread, but I better plug it in, because if it's not plugged in, it's not going to do anything. So knowing that we have access to the power is one thing, but actually plugging ourselves in to make the difference, to make us hot, is what we have to do. Public apathy has caused a lot of problems. My vote doesn't count. Me doing something doesn't count. Yes, it does. Every single action that we take, we can have somebody else's reaction to it. But we have to. I want to bring this to the biblical text. Do you mind if I do that for a second, since
No, not at all.
Either Passover and Good Friday. Every single instance in the Bible, in the Hebrew scripture, when God the Father or God Almighty said something, there was always a counterbalance to it. Like when the Egyptians were going through the Sea of Reeds or the Red Sea, he never made the Egyptians disappear. He told Moses, walk, put your arms up, do what I tell you and walk. When the Israelites were hungry, he didn't take away their hunger. He made them collect manna. He gave them something, but he gave them instructions. Nothing in the biblical text tells us we're just supposed to sit there. We're supposed to be in partnership. And I think that goes to say, even with our country and our fellow man, like, let's do something.
Well, and the thing is, they're taking God out of everything. And that's the issue.
Well, the problem here is you have half of us, or half the population, that are actually doing things, even if it's just small steps to try and make a difference and change things. Then you have the other half where they're afraid to leave their comfort zones, or they just don't want to do it.
You know what?
Well, yes, I mean, it's kind of like the Cain and Abel, one against one. It's like a 50-50. It's basically split right down the middle, where some of us will do some stuff and some people won't budge. But I mean, we're watching, if we're just looking at it through the prism of the United States, we are divided straight down the middle. You could draw a chalk line.
And I believe all of that is by a system that has been in place for a very long time. And it is designed that way. People are conditioned to see things a certain way. And the evidence of that is, if you go look at it's during Christmas time, look at how people act during Christmas time. Why is it during that particular time of year, when they're going to give you all these great deals, that people just go bananas and they act literally uncivilized? I mean, some of the videos are horrifying with what you see. Why is it that? Why does that happen? What creates that kind of behavior? The idea that you're going to get something great, but you have to be the first one. That kind of. Then they call it marketing, but really it's programming. It's conditioning, if you will. You have to be the first one there. You're at the door. And all these people wait for it. Some of these people camp out. It's amazing. They camp out, literally camp out, waiting to be the first one in line. And God forbid if you're in the doorway when they open those doors, because it literally is like a stampede, like a cattle stampede coming through a door. Why? Why is it like that? Because I believe there is a system in place that conditions. They know they can't reach everybody, but they get enough to get the job done, if you will. And that's what's happening. This is what we're fighting, day in and day out. We're fighting this system that is in place that conditions or programs people, and they don't even know it. Many of these people don't even have a clue why it is that they want to do. They want to be the first one to have whatever it is, an Apple phone or whatever that might be. That's not the point. The point is what created that demand within their mind. Because the first thing that happens before anything is the thought.
Why don't we continue the rest of this conversation after our next commercial break? You are listening to Paraversal Universe. We will be right back with our guest for the next segment.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio. Broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.